Yo, what is up? What is up, world? Look, I have a major concern, and it's about the wide receivers getting paid. As the NFL move forward, there's going to be different positions that'll break NFL records, so I understand that. And I agree to an extent. But what I want to speak about today is a wide receiver room now. Not just the Carolina Panthers are in trouble, because when I look at our cap room for this year and years to come, we are spending money on players and we're not even competing. So the Carolina Panthers have a concern looking forward. Now, we let Brian Burns go. We extended Derrick Brown, which I would have loved to kept both, but we have no roster to even think that we're competing. So we had to make some moves and move off certain players. Looking for the future, I just don't see us um, competing at this moment. If we would have rebuilt correctly and then splurged out on rookies instead of free agency, because that's where all the money going. That's where all the money has hit this year on offense to give Bryce Young some help in the pocket and out like his receivers. Johnson, I love that pickup, but I prefer Ayuk over Johnson, all because he have better stats. Outside of who has the most separation is Johnson by far. He's up there at one. He's at the one spot when it comes to separation out of any receiver, even Jefferson. I don't know, man. We spending way too much money and we're not competing. It would have made sense if we had half the roster filled with playmakers and then went in free agency and got strong help. But we're just heading in the opposite direction, in my opinion. But today's video, we got to figure out where Johnson stacked. And I'm finna go down this list that was just posted after Jefferson. His extension is worth $35 million a year. That's quarterback money. Now every other team is in trouble. The Vikings is not a contender. And they just got rid of Cousins. Cousins kept them in games at time. And it was times where he just wasn't there. It just wasn't enough. And you can't fully blame Cousins because if the Minnesota Vikings had a defense, they would be contenders every year. The Vikings, you know, they drive very well. I say that. And they develop guys, because even the guys that they didn't extend this year, they made those guys. Those wasn't guys that they found in free agency and just they was already made. Nah, the Minnesota Vikings made majority of the guys that they didn't resign. And they done it because Jefferson is that guy. Now, he deserved every positive thing that come his way. He deserved that money. But I'm just not willing to give one position, one player, that much money if he's not a franchise quarterback. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, I'm not sure if they're in trouble. They will have to draft and develop. They can't continue to look in free agency because that's where majority of their money going to Jefferson. But he's at the one spot. You got AJ Brown making $32 million. Now, for me, AJ does not deserve 32 a year. His stats don't show that. Him being on the field doesn't say he deserved 32 a year. It's just crazy how nowadays you can just show out for 1 year and you get the bag. Now I'm finna finish off this list. At the third spot, St. Brown, he's getting $30.25 million a year. Tyreek Hill, $30 million a year. Jalen Waddle, $28.25 million a year. At the sixth, Devontae Adams with 28. 7, Cooper Kupp with 26.7 million. 8, Devontae Smith. 9, Nico Collins. Now, I don't agree with him getting 24 a year. I'm sorry. That man does not deserve 24. Neither does he deserve 20. Now, the NFL is leading in another direction. There's teams that feel they don't want to let certain players walk. But Nico Collins, what have he done that made you believe that he deserved 24 a year? At the 10th spot, DK Metcalf is getting 24 even a year. Now, as Carolina Panthers fans, I need y'all to comment down below, where does Johnson stack when it comes to if he deserved to be in the top 10 being paid as a receiver? Top 15, top 20, mid-20s, where do Johnson rank? And how much are y'all willing to feel comfortable of giving him a year? Now, I'm not going to be fanned out about Johnson. Yes, I love that we got him. I've always wanted a route technician at receiver. But when it comes to paying him, 20 is just not, I'm not willing to go 20. I'm just not. If y'all was to ask me that question, where should he rank? I would have to look at the top 20 most paid receivers this year, because there's guys that's looking for a contract right now. Ayuk is looking for one. Debo is coming up on one. Tyreek Hill is coming up on another contract, and it's like he's becoming a diva in the NFL. And in my opinion, Tyreek has to be top 5 paid receiver. He's a dog, but he's turning into AB right now, and I don't like that. I don't like how some of these players is getting big headed. They've already made their money. I get that. But there's fans that's looking up to you. There's kids looking up to you. There's fans that expect you to bring them a trophy back. And it's like, nowadays players is just different. They don't care about winning a championship. They don't take the game serious. Everybody buddy. I don't like where the NFL is headed right now. But Johnson, to get back to that conversation, Johnson, I would believe he's top 15. I would put him at 12 at receivers. Someone else have to be in front of him. I believe Ayuk needs to be paid more than Johnson. I believe Debo needs to be paid more than Johnson. So I would put Johnson at 13 to 14 range at receivers. I'm not willing to give him $20 million a year. I believe he's better than Nico Collins, but Nico is getting 24, and I'm not willing to give Johnson no 25 a year. So let me know how y'all feel in the comments down below. Let me know, what are y'all willing to pay Johnson? And just leave a like, man. Y'all start commenting. Let's start a conversation. I want to know how y'all Panthers fans feel as well. And how does the league feel in general about Justin Jefferson contract?